Coming up, the Junior Golf Championships in Hunter, plus promotion and relegation set to return in the Hunters NPL competition that's coming up next on NBN's local sports news. Good news for Newcastle's Gosford, which races out to an early lead with the New South Wales Junior Golf Championships on Friday. Plus, men's football sets the road shake up in Hunter. Promotions and relegations are being introduced to the top 5 divisions in 2024. Spot in the final series with a win against the Northern Hawks this weekend. But first tonight, the Hunters' Ellie Scasebrook has raced out to an early lead at the New South Wales Junior Golf Championships and Byron Bay. The 17-year-old Novocastrian carded a 65 on the opening day, finishing 3 strokes clear of her nearest rival, as Adam Murray reports.
On a wet, miserable day, Ella Scasebrook shone bright. One of the Hunters' hottest golf prospects, finishing the day 7 under.
I did a few swing changes, been working on that really hard, so feeling confident with it all.
Grafton's Holly Fuller is tied for 4th, 6 strokes behind Scasebrook.
A bit sloppy, a bit wet, it was slow, but played pretty well, so pretty happy with that.
Nelson Bay's Amy Squires found the conditions harder to deal with. 3 bogeys in a row saw her card a 76. She'll head into the next 3 days with a fresh approach.
Every time I play a tournament, it sort of like messes with my brain. I think too much about it and I end up playing pretty bad. So just go out there, have some fun, come top 10 hopefully, and yeah, that's when I play my best.
In his final state junior championship, Jake Riley is shooting for the stars. He's hoping to back up a Queensland junior amateur win last week.
I definitely probably feel a lot more comfortable, obviously, having done it. Just brings that confidence knowing if I play well that I got it done last week, so I can do it again this week.
He finished the day 4 over par. Adam Murray, NBN News.
Of course, let's have a look at a different sport. And of course, men's football is set for a major shake-up in the Hunter, with promotion and relegation to be reintroduced to the top 5 divisions from 2024. Following months of planning, NBN News can reveal clubs will be informed of the change tomorrow, as Mitchell Hughes reports.
It's a big part of football around the world, but it's been almost a decade since promotion and relegation existed in the Hunter.
We need to be developing players and developing clubs, and now we have an opportunity to bring in community football teams from the zones and come all the way through if they're good enough and have the desire to go into the National Premier League.
It's not an easy thing to do, to integrate the 2 levels of competition between us and the zones. And a lot of credit needs to go to them for their foresight and their commitment to making sure that fluid pathway exists.
From next season, 1 team will go up and 1 team will drop down in each division. The top tier will be slightly different.
The 12th team in NPL will be relegated automatically. The 11th team will qualify for the playoff. They'll go into a playoff with the 2nd, 3rd and 4th in Northern League 1. and they will battle it out to finally see who gets that final possession in NPL for the following season.
Former Mariner and Edgeworth Eagle Daniel McBreen was part of the working group that developed the plan. He wasn't the only one who'd experienced a league with relegation.
I used to play for West Bromwich Albion as a professional footballer, and I've coached in the zone competition, I've coached in the NPL space, and it's been a number one for me to make sure this happens.
Nikolai Topor-Stanley has also seen how promotion and relegation strengthens the code.
It provides a competitive meaning to games, especially down the bottom of tables, and it provides a story for fan engagement.
Anyway, coming up after the break, why I'm very close to the Newcastle Rugby.
We at Dowling would like to thank our many valued clients for helping us to expand our hauling box here at Newcastle. Nobody can offer better real estate service than Dowling, supporting local business, charities and sporting bodies. The Dowling Yard is great real estate service. No Dowling! No noise at Dowling. Go on Dowling. At Dowling you're always on one. Go on Dowling. Buying and selling. There are lots of roads where it's easy to drop a wheel off the edge, and that becomes dangerous when a driver overreacts, brakes sharply and pulls the car violently back onto the road. That can start a spin across the road and into other traffic. The correct technique is to stay steady on the steering and just ease the car back onto the road with a gentle swing.
Brought to you in the interest of road safety by the Newcastle Permanent Building Society.
Now we move on to the Central Coast. Of course, fresh off a huge win against Curry in the Newcastle Rugby League competition, the Wanderoos are bouncing high. Sitting in third place on the ladder, they can secure a spot in the final series this weekend with a win against the Northern Hawks, as Josephine Shannon reports.
It's the Wyong Roos' biggest win of the year, but captain coach Mitch Williams says his team isn't getting carried away.
We understand that was a good win on the weekend, but we need every win to finish in the top three. Probably didn't defend the offloads as well as I would have liked on the weekend. I think we conceded 12 offloads, which is one of our season highs, so need to do a better job at wrapping up the ball and stopping that second phase play.
Taking down Curry in a spectacular fashion, Williams says spirits are high at the club.
When you win in the dressing room is a pretty good place to be, so it's been really nice the last month. Training's been really good, and to get a performance like that where a few of the boys get some tries is really good.
Between Lathan, Hutchinson, Walters, Cooper Bagini, each scoring 4 tries, and this try from Luke Sharp, the Roos were unstoppable.
He's going great at the moment. As soon as he gets in some open space, not many people are catching him. So, it's good to see.
This weekend, they'll take on the Northern Hawks at Tomaree Sports Ground.
They've got a really good squad on paper. They probably just haven't got the results they've been looking for, but we know that it'll be a really tough game come Sunday.
Josephine Shannon, NBN News.
Oh, this will hurt.
Good news for the Central Coast Crusaders women. They secured a huge win over the Hills Hornets in Sydney, right up in the NBL 1 East. Of course, the Hornets tried to make a comeback, but the Central Coast Crusaders were just too strong for their rivals right throughout the game, managing to win the match with a huge win.
Look at that.
Are you sure about that?
Wow, 21 points now. Driving in.
Yep.
Of course, the Crusaders too strong for their rivals right throughout the game, securing a 73-45 win.
Over Hills Hornets.
Meanwhile, returning back to rugby league, and in a Hunters Group 21 competition, and Denman has defeated Singleton with a huge win. It was spectacular for the Denman, who were too strong for their rivals right throughout the game.
Lets us know that it was the 2 old stages that he's got one to beat. He will, and he scored. Game stuffer off the quick tap. Steams onto it, finds the gap. Noah Sala there was coming back on side for that, Matt. Semi-R, stood Semi-R up out the bit side.
Of course, Denman managed to score back.
Over the 30, into the 10, he's going with the far line. Smythe, no! It's a 100-metre try. 100-metre try from Semi-R. We're looking for the point to the ground, and it does see that there won't be too much that won't make this score. Semi-R pointed to the deck. 100-metre try. Wow. How do you turn that around, Bradley?
Oh, that was, look, Jake Hardy, he had the idea. He had a good kick chase up there, but the right side of him,
try,
the
100 metres, it was just
spectacular. Good enough with him. And he even looked back and was going, what are you doing, boys?
He stepped 2 or 3 times and got through that centre. I didn't quite see who fell off, but 30-26 reads the ETB industry scoreboard, and I'm going to say the Denman Devils won't be in any hurry to take this kick. Certainly,
of course, Denman managing to win the game against Singleton.
How can that turn around so quickly? Wow.
In the blink, they can get it done. But it'll be less. It'll probably be around the 2-minute mark by the time he kicks and they get back up. Make it very, very hard. They'll get 1 set, maybe a set and a half. Denman's just got to hold them out.
Olds. Very wide. Maybe a metre in from the eastern side. 22 metres out from the Singleton line. He lines up. Takes his time. Looks for his approach. Slots it. And I think that's going to be wide. As it is, just across the mouth of the post here. Similar kick to Mac Daly. 30-26. ETB Industry scoreboard is showing with 2:17 on the clock in Singleton.
Very come back on here, has he?
High kick.
Ronnie Andrews.
Andrews cleans it up and take that to the deck as the 10 seconds counts down.
And he'll just get up and slowly play.
Of course, it was all Denman.
And James
They managed to secure a 2-point win.
Boys are still going. That's full time.
That look, that potentially wasn't the play there, Matt,
Probably
to
not,
end the set. But anyhow, look,
doesn't matter. That's the play the Greyhounds have come up with, and it's 30-26 in a cracking game of second half football. You'll call it. First half not so much, but second half
30-26 to the Denman Devils, running out winners at Pertec Park here today, Bradley, as always.
Don't forget this Saturday, Aberdeen is up against Muswellbrook at 5:30, while on Sunday, Denman and Scone both have home games against Greta Branxton and Singleton. And of course, both Denman and Scone need to win. While it is all different right up in the reserves competition, and of course Aberdeen is up against Muswellbrook, Denman are taking on Greta Branxton, while Merriwar is up against Singleton, while Scone have to bye. Also in the ladies' league tag, and Aberdeen is up against Murrundi, Scone is up against Singleton, or Denman has to bye. But thankfully no byes in the under-18s this week, and because it's round 12, Denman is up against Muswellbrook. Scone versus Singleton is the match of the round up at their hometown of Scone Park. And of course, round 15 of the Newcastle Rugby League kicks off on Saturday with South Newcastle up against Western Suburbs. Cessnock is up against the Entrance. And of course, Lakes United is up against the Butcher Boys. The Northern Hawks are hoping to win up at home at Tomaree on Sunday against Wyong, while Cully, the Macquarie Scorpions and Maitland all have the bye. And it's really different right up in the reserve grades as South Newcastle up against Western Suburbs. Maitland is up against Central Newcastle. Macquarie is up against Cully, and Northern Hawks are up against Cessnock, while Lakes United have the bye. But thankfully no byes in the under 19s, which means South Newcastle and Western Suburbs are up against each other. So too are Cessnock and Maitland, and Lakes United and Cully are up against each other. Turn to Coast Premier Hockey, and of course West were too strong for the Tigers. Gosford defeated Souths, and Norths, who were last year's premiers, defeated Maitland with a huge victory. To round 11 of Newcastle hockey, and of course, the University of Newcastle students defeated the Tigers, and of course both teams, and of course the students secured a victory, or South secured a massive win, and of course, both the Eagles and Oxford were forced to secure a draw. Of course, Gosford had the bye. And don't forget, in the second grade, Oxford defeated the students. Regals were too strong for Central, while Souths and the Tigers couldn't be separated as they were forced to have a draw at 2-2. And of course, the North Stars are not going. And of course, good news, North Stars. Good news, because all of us North Stars fans are all but excited as they're heading down to the M1 to play against the Sydney Ice Dogs. And because of that, the game starts on July 8 at 5 p.m. And of course, don't forget the North Stars are back home with 2 double headers on the 29th, where they take on the Brave, and on the 30th, where they take on the Lightning this weekend. And of course, Singleton have postponed their match against Killarney Vale, and of course, they're still struggling to cooperate with what happened a few weeks ago. But of course, Nelson Bay will play, and because of that, the club will play against Maitland. Also, Cardiff needs to win against Warners Bay, so too does Newcastle City, who are hoping to beat Terrigal Avoca. But also, Cardiff are hoping to beat Warners Bay, Newcastle City are hoping to beat Terrigal Avoca, and it's a battle of the Central Coast teams, with Killarney Vale hoping to defeat Wyong. Also, it was going to be the Gosford versus Singleton clash, but that's been postponed because of what the Singleton club is going through. But of course, instead, the matches between Newcastle City and Lake Macquarie, as well as the Muswellbrook Cats and Maitland, will go ahead. Of course, in the women's and in round 12, it will be, of course, Cardiff are hoping to secure a win over Warners Bay. Lake Macquarie need to beat Killarney Vale, and of course, Newcastle City have to beat Terrigal Avoca at the number 1 sports ground, while the Singleton Roosters are still unavailable. And finally, in the women's Black Diamond Plate, in Newcastle City are home against Terrigal Avoca this Saturday, while the Muswellbrook Cats are up against Maitland, Gosford are up against Killarney Vale, Cardiff is up at home against Port Stephens and is up at Cameron Park, while the entrants Batter Bay have the bye. And of course, it's round 8 of the, and of course it's round 12 of the Hunter Premier Rugby, and of course the two Blues are up against Mayweather Carlton, and of course Mayweather has to win this. And of course, the University of Newcastle have to beat the Southern Beaches. Maitland is hoping to defeat the Hamilton Hawks. And in round 12 of the women's, and of course, Maitland needs to beat the Students. The Wanderers hoping to beat Nelson Bay, while the Southern Beaches Madawi have to beat Hamilton, while the Waratahs and Mayweather Carlton have a battle against each other on Saturday at 4:30, with the two teams hoping to beat each other and of course hoping to qualify for the finals. Don't forget the Knights are not over yet because they're up against the Sydney Roosters up in Sydney in the New South Wales Cup. Of course, it's a battle of 12 versus 13. Of course, go Knights go. It's also go Knights go under the Jersey Flag Cup. Knights take on the West Tigers and Saturday right up at midday. But of course, for round 1 of the State of Origin under 19s, New South Wales is going to go for because